Oh. Well, that's new. Hello everybody, my name is Shenko and welcome back to the Minecraft Survival Series, episode 40. I hope you all are well. As you can see behind me with the oxidized lightning rod, we are now in 1.21.9. We have finally entered the Copper Age and I have a lot of high hopes for these new blocks that they added, which I am going to test out real quick here in the first keep. Let's just make our way down to the hall. So as you can see, we entered the Copper Age and now all our lightning rods have oxidized through my time being here and working around the lands. And I gotta say, they look pretty good. I actually really like the color. Now I want to try something real quick. Let's just grab my axe. And I think it's 6. I haven't really played with these new blocks in the Copper Age, so it's gonna be fun to get to try them. As you can see, yep, right there. So we get 6 shells for that. Okay, I can live with that. Let's just place it right here. I want to see how this looks. That looks pretty cool. That looks pretty cool. Just the sight of my sword just hung up there atop the mantelpiece. That looks really nice. So, first impressions of the shelves, they are really cool. I can't wait to use them more in building. And even in these little places right here where I can just do something like this. Oh yeah. The sub-block detail that the shelves provide is just amazing. But we'll explore the new additions to the Copper Age as we go throughout this video because we have a lot of stuff to do today. And what do I mean by that? Well, let's come down to the valley and I'll show you what I've been working on. Right here. So before, this terrain, which used to be very hilly and very sharp, led into a lake down there. Now since then, I have been messing with the terrain slightly and wanting to cover up the sharp terrain in making this much flatter, because I have plans of a path that's going to be going through and entering the valley from that side over there. And so what I've been doing is I've been flattening the land and modifying the terrain to make it much flatter, because I have a lot more buildings that I want to place around here, down here in the valley village. Now as I'm doing that, this lake down here actually gives us a good opportunity to build a farm. I know I built a farm in the last episode, but this is too big of an opportunity to build a squid farm here. I've not built a squid farm. Let's try and do that. But first, we'll have to get rid of all the water in here and concise the spawning of the squid into an area that we can control. So if I return back to my starter home, I picked out from my mega base, there we go, 2 shulker boxes of sand, which will help us along with our sponge, which should be right here. So as we go throughout this episode, we will be exploring all the new features and blocks and additions to Minecraft in the Copper Age drop 1.21.9. But in the meanwhile, we've got a farm to build. And that means clearing up a whole bunch of water down here. Right, so my tactic's gonna be something like this, where I'm just gonna be laying down sand like so, and then come in with the sponge, like that, and just do that. So, we know what we gotta do. We gotta concise all the squid to spawn in that box behind us right there. Shall we get to it? Let's do this. Right, so, progress update. We are getting along just nicely with the clearing of the water. And as you can see inside that little tank, you can see all the squid there. And it'll be pretty easy for us to just jump in the tank and just farm all the squid for the ink. So from all the squid inside the tank when we came over, we managed to collect up to half a stack of ink sacks, which is really cool. Now in order to make that more efficient, we need to clear up more of this water right here. And the process is similar to how I drained an ocean monument, which is to place a whole bunch of sand around and just form a whole bunch of borders so that you can have a nice 4x4 grid to clear out the water, and then you clear out the sand later. And since you all are here, might as well give you all a tutorial of how you can place down sand much more efficiently, because you can actually use this method for clearing out the water in an ocean monument. So what you do is a power source, like a redstone block and a repeater going this way, a redstone dust, a block right here, and then a piston, right here, facing this way. So what basically happens here is that when you place a block here, a redstone signal will pass into that dust, and through quasi connectivity, it will activate that piston. And once the piston pushes that block, the redstone signal will be cut off and the piston will retract. Like so. You can use this method to clear out the water in an ocean monument to build yourself an ocean monument farm, which is pretty cool. Oh, don't mind the uniform change. It was getting chilly, and winter is coming. So, this is what you basically do. It is a little bit loud, because, you know, piston noises, but it gets the job done. So that's what I've mostly been doing, and judging by how much water we cleared out since we last met, the farm is actually somewhat working, but we need to clear out all the water if we want to make this farm much more efficient. So, I see no reason to stop. Let's continue until all this water has been cleared out. Let's do this. So, bit of an update. We finally have the lake all drained out, except for the little section where the squid are spawning. Look at that baby squid. So cute. But yeah, that is going to be my squid farm. Now, I won't be building the farm portion because I can just jump my way in and just kill squid manually for now. I've actually been collecting quite a bit of ink when we were draining out the lake. And as you can see, we have quite a bit of ink. So we are good for black dye for the foreseeable future. So now that that's complete, I actually want to get on with a little bit of building, because we have all these new beautiful blocks that got added in the Copper Age, and I want to try and utilize them. So we're going to start with this building right here. Now obviously I tried visualizing how tall it was going to be, and this bit of space right here leaves a lot to be desired. So what we're going to do is going to put down our shulker boxes. And I think we have a lot more inside this ender chest. We do. We got some tuff, some deep slate, a whole bunch of logs and some copper, some miscellaneous blocks, regular deep slate. Now first things first, I'm gonna have to clear out this part of the land because this bit of land behind here leaves a little bit to be desired. First gotta start with a layer like so. As you know, with my style, we don't usually want to finish with the whole thing in an instant. We want to build up as we go. Now this doesn't look too bad for now, although I want to work on the outside area first because I think I have an idea to use for the new blocks that we have. So let's first get a floor set in this vicinity right here. So I think these are going to make the canopy for our outside forge area. Now, this is the opportunity to test something. Let's get a whole bunch of logs and strip them. There we go. As you can see, the recipe book, new recipes were unlocked. Now, we can make spruce shelves. I want to see, how do these look as a trim? Like so. You know what? They actually... Is it a thunderstorm? It is a thunderstorm. I gotta sleep. Oh, I also have this really cool mod called Cool Rain. And you can hear when the rain hits the copper. That sounds really nice. Alright, so taking a look from here, it actually doesn't look too bad. I actually really like that. It looks pretty cool. Now, obviously we need the canopy. I'm gonna try and use campfires here, which is gonna be very expensive, but we should be able to afford it. Oh, that's right. I can't get up this way, because it blocks it. Ooh. You can probably hear the storm that's coming in. It is monsoon season here in Southeast Asia. Put down the trap doors. Like so. Add one more like this. That doesn't look too bad. Honestly, that doesn't look too bad. Maybe, okay, of course we're gonna need to add the framing around just so you can see that that is the door, but honestly, that looks pretty good. Yeah. Yeah. We're now getting two really good uses of the shelves. Now, obviously, you do not ever want to go near them and right-click them, or else you put your item in there like that. But that's okay. It is actually turning out really good. Right, so we discovered some pretty cool techniques in utilizing the shelves for building. Let's continue in getting this blacksmith forge done. Are we ready? Let's do this. So before we go see that building, I actually have a confession to make. Now I went back to my Guardian farm and grabbed a whole bunch of prismarine shards. Now why, you may ask? Well, because we built the squid farm and I've been farming a lot of these ink sacs, we can make a very special block. If we turn the ink sacs into black dye, we can turn that into dark prismarine. I completely forgot that dark prismarine existed. This is such a really nice tile block. I mean, just look at that. The texture is a little bit, well, messy, but the color is so unique. It has a bit of green, a bit of blue. I really like the dark green contrast that it gives. And because of that, you can see the house right over there. We use dark prismarine as the roof. Let me show you once we sleep. So right down here in the town, we have completed the blacksmith building. And I decided to use a different roof material, so we ended up using dark prismarine because that sets up a little bit of contrast. It works well. It matches the sort of light green that the oxidized copper roofs all around in the valley, but it gives it a little bit of contrast. I feel like especially since we built the squid farm, we have much better access to dark prismarine and will be able to use that block much more down here in the valley. Now, to give you a little bit of a tour, right here we have the outside forging area. We have our water bath, a nice little barrel made out of the new shelves. We have our forge right here. Pretty simple. And we have a nice canopy to shield us from the rain in case it pours. We don't want all that rain getting into our molten metal. Now, as you make your way into the blacksmith itself, you can see it's still relatively simply designed. A very simple water fountain for quenching your metals. You have your anvil, you have your forge, and you have a whole bunch of materials. I will eventually be moving all the armor in my storage room over here because it makes sense to populate the blacksmith forge with all your armor and all your weapons. Now, the owner of the blacksmith may also stay on site, and that's why they have a small little bedroom. As you can see, I changed up the design for the usual beds to now include the new shelves, and the shelves are really nice for just these small decorations and small details that you want in interiors. It's absolutely beautiful. It's got a nice little fireplace here, and oh wait, hang on, I need to try something here as well. Yeah, there it is. Copper bars. Now I can place one here, and eventually that will oxidize. I can't wait to see when it oxidizes. You too. But since I went through this entire interior without actually recording, I feel like I owe you all a little insight into how I do interiors, and I feel like this building right here gives us the opportunity to do so. Obviously, this building is the stables where your horses would be. If you ever come into the town in the valley, you would park your horse here and these guys will probably take care of your horse for you. Now currently it doesn't have an interior, but I'd say we change that and I'll turn this into an explanation in how I do my interiors. So first things first, I like to plan out where the ceilings and the floors are going to be. If you notice in most of the buildings in the valley, you would notice that there is a little section where there is some stripped pale oak wood in between the floors. Now the reason I have that gap right there, similarly right here, is that I like to give a little bit of separation between the ceiling and the floor. I don't necessarily want the floor and the ceiling to be the same block, so sometimes expanding your builds up gives you that leeway in order to have that creative freedom. So I'd say that the ceiling is going to be about yay high. We are going to mark out the ceiling at least for the ground floor. Now remember, this is all in the planning phase. We're not getting into the final build immediately. I'm just showing you my thought process when it comes to actually building interiors. Just so you can probably have an idea on how you want to build your interiors. Because it changes quite a bit. You might want to see what works for you and what doesn't work for you. Because everybody's got a different way of dealing with interiors. But this is how I usually do it. We can establish that this be the second floor. Now, we can actually change up the flooring of the first floor, but that's okay. We can leave it as such. Remember, this is the planning phase, not the actual phase. Of course, sometimes you run into the issue where something might not look as great, but then you have to make it a little bit smaller, and that's okay. If your rooms are slightly smaller, well, that does mean you have a little bit less to work with, but at the same time, it also makes it a little bit more convenient because you aren't spending a lot of time just stressing out over what to put in the most obscure spaces. Now already within that certain section, we have 3 floors all planned out. We have a lower floor, a middle floor, and then a top floor. Obviously, we have a lot more work to do, but I feel like you all actually have a gist on how I do my interiors. Now, the next thing we had to do, as I'm going to be finishing that up, I gotta do some of the interiors for these little small houses right here, and I got a few more small houses planned throughout the valley here. Our plan is to make this area seem populated, if you know what I mean. And no, that does not involve bringing a whole bunch of villagers here. I do not intend on starting a raid or making things any difficult for villagers here, especially since I already have my own villager trading hall. Right then, we know what we gotta do. Let's get to work then, and I'll see you on the other side. Let's get to work. Let's do this. And would you look at that? Look what we have completed thus far. It's looking absolutely beautiful, and the sun is going down. It is actually getting a little colder, don't you think? Yeah, it's starting to get very, very cold. I don't know why, but the weather seems to have taken a turn for the worst in it being much colder than before. So hopefully when we wake up in the morning, we should be just fine. Ah, much better. I'd say we take a look at what it's looking like up here and... Oh wow, I guess winter really is here. It's a good thing we're prepared for it. I got the nice attire. Would you look at how the town is coming along just fine down here. It's looking absolutely beautiful with all these new buildings that I've just added all down here in the valley. It is slowly turning into a town that is much lived in rather than just the tavern right here. We now have a few more buildings. Let's go into this building that I said I was working on before we left off. Right here is a cart repair shop that has a single cart in here. There will be some more shelves for tools and all the other bits and bobs to repair these carts. And right up here, you have a second floor. And right up here, you have a third floor, which leads into 2 bedrooms. Very nice. Now, apart from this building right here, which I might even change the decor up going down the line, we have added even more buildings to the valley in Wintertown. And we even added a few other sections here. You would see to our left, we have these little marketplace stalls and a nice little fireplace chamber to warm yourself. Some nice benches to sit by the fire. And then these marketplace stalls, I have managed to use these copper chains and the copper bulbs. They look absolutely beautiful. I love how these turned out. And the shelves displaying some nice drinks. And behind here, some barrels of malt wine just bubbling away. Not the most accurate, but hey, it works. Right here we have a stall selling some wheat. And on the opposite side of the road, we have a cart and a stall that's selling books. You have the shop vendor right here, storing all the books inside these chiseled bookshelves. And you can sell these books right here. Right opposite the library, we've made another one of these larger buildings. I'm not too sure what this is going to be, but it definitely looks much nicer thanks to all the newer blocks such as the shelves. As we make our way in, we have your usual first floor. You have a stairway that leads all the way up to the second floor, fully furnished and ready for interior work. And if you come all the way above, right here, you can climb all the way up this tower where you can get some really nice views of the valley and the castle atop the mountain. And I have also been messing with the interior of these smaller houses right here. If you make your way in, these houses are where the villagers would live. You have a small fireplace, warm interior, wooden roofs, a nice little bookshelf and a chest to store your items. And with this divider right here made out of shelves, you come into your bedroom. Eventually all the smaller villager houses will be decorated with interiors as such, but that was a proof of concept. It actually looks really nice. So with winter being here and more buildings being constructed in Wintertown, I'd say we're doing a really good job with expanding the town down in the valley. And I'm not sure if you're supposed to be up there, but you do you. Oh, right. I also built that tower over there. So this tower right here is supposed to be a relic of the past, an older tower that existed before the castle was constructed. So as you can see, the flag of House Stormwind flying in the wind with the House Stormwind banners and it looking a little bit older with deep slate and tough. You make your way in. You climb up the spiral staircase. You have a nice platform here where you can shoot arrows out at any unwanted beings right here. And as you make your way to the top, the flag is flying in the wind and you get some very nice views of Wintertown. And right opposite, our old castle over there, which also has a tower. So I'd say the expansion to Wintertown has been going really well thus far. I'm really enjoying the look of Wintertown and how it all is building up to be. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Next course of action, I do have more buildings to construct, but this flat piece of land right here that was previously a river, which has now become my squid farm, I have plans to turn this into a smaller village which consists of the smaller houses, and they will all be here in some sort of farming district. We have so much land to work with. And furthermore, we don't just have one piece of flat land to play with. We have this one. Behind my starter house, I have this piece of flat land right here. Now, I wasn't too sure what I was going to do with this flat piece of land, but then I remembered the Mounts of Mayhem drop is dropping. Get it? Dropping. But yeah, the Mounts of Mayhem drop will be arriving on the 9th of December 2025, just in time for the holidays. And what I have planned for this piece of flat land behind me will play into the Mounts of Mayhem. We're gonna have a nice area right here where people can train in their sword skills, their bow skills, ride horses, practice, and more so, spears. This area is going to be where the knights will be training and where the guards will be training people in combat. And that is where the spears will come in handy. So we definitely have a lot more real estate to work with, especially after all the progress we made in Wintertown. And with winter being here, more so is a priority to keep warm. And with the town much more developed, the townsfolk are going to be ready because winter is here. But with night falling on the Wintertown, that is where I'm gonna leave it for episode 40 of the Minecraft Survival series. I really hope you all enjoyed this video, seeing us build up more of Wintertown, and especially with winter being here. I wish you all a very happy holidays. My name is Shenko. Thank you all so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like and subscribe to follow along the journey with me. As always, take care of yourselves, be nice to one another. I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Later.